The champagne flute shattered against the marble floor of the penthouse ballroom, sending shards skittering like icy accusations across the polished surface. I stood there, frozen in my ivory wedding gown, the lace itching against my sweat-slicked skin, as my father's voice boomed through the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, his face a mask of paternal disappointment twisted into something sharper, "tonight marks the end of an era. My daughter Elena has chosen her path. And with it, she chooses to leave behind the life I've built for her." The room fell silent, the string quartet's notes dying mid-phrase. My husband, Marcus, gripped my hand. His calloused fingers rough against my manicured ones, but I could feel the tremor in his touch. Dad raised his glass in a mock toast. "To independence. May it serve you well." Then he turned away, signaling the end of the reception he'd funded. His final gift laced with venom. In that moment, the fury hit me like a gut punch, hot and nauseating, mingling with the metallic tang of betrayal in my mouth. How dare he? After all the years of obedience, the Ivy League degrees, the summers interning at his tech empire, cut off just like that because I married a man without a trust fund. I replayed the scene in my mind as Marcus and I stumbled into our cramped studio apartment that night, the city's neon lights flickering through the grimy window like mocking fireflies. The gown pooled around my feet as I collapsed onto the sagging couch, the fabric now stained with spilled wine from the chaotic exit. "He didn't mean it," Marcus murmured, kneeling before me, his dark eyes searching mine. But I knew better. Richard Hargrove, CEO of Hargrove Innovations, didn't make empty threats. He'd built his fortune on calculated risks and ruthless cuts. Why would his own flesh and blood be exempt? Heartbreak clawed at my chest, a raw, aching void where paternal love should have been. I'd always been his golden girl, the one who'd inherit the empire. Now I was nothing but a liability, married to a starving artist, as he'd sneered during our pre-wedding confrontation. Resentment bubbled up, thick and bitter, as I thought of the trust fund emails that had already stopped. The credit cards declined even before the cake was cut. In the days that followed, denial wrapped around me like a suffocating blanket. I paced the apartment's threadbare carpet, the faint scent of takeout pizza lingering in the air, convincing myself it was a bluff. "He'll come around," I told Marcus over lukewarm coffee one morning, my voice brittle. But Marcus, with his quiet strength honed from years of scraping by as a freelance coder, shook his head. "Elena, your dad's not the forgiving type. We need a plan." His words stung, stirring a flicker of humiliation. Me, the heiress, reduced to budgeting spreadsheets on a second-hand laptop. I fantasized about storming into his boardroom, slamming my fists on the glass table, demanding he see Marcus for the brilliant mind he was, not the empty pockets. But doubt crept in, whispering that maybe Dad was right. Had I thrown away security for love? The obsession started small, a late-night scroll through Hargrove's stock reports, noting the vulnerabilities in their latest AI project. What if I could expose them? The thought thrilled and terrified me, a moral tightrope I wasn't ready to walk. The apartment felt smaller each day, the walls closing in with the weight of unpaid bills. Marcus took extra gigs, his fingers flying over the keyboard in the dim glow of our single lamp, the clacking keys a rhythmic reminder of our precarious life. "I got an interview," he said one evening, collapsing beside me on the bed, his stubbled cheek rough against my shoulder. "Some startup. Nothing fancy, but it pays." I nodded, forcing a smile, but inside, resentment toward Dad festered like an untreated wound. Why punish me for choosing happiness? Heartbreak morphed into anger during a family dinner I wasn't invited to. Photos posted online by my cousin, showing Dad toasting with my siblings, his laughter echoing in my imagination. I imagined confronting him, my voice steady. "You think you can erase me? Watch me rise." But the words stayed locked away, fueling quiet plans in the dead of night. Guilt gnawed at me as I watched Marcus struggle. He was the innocent in this, a man who'd grown up in foster homes, coding his way out of poverty with sheer grit. "I don't regret us," he whispered during a rare moment of vulnerability. his breath warm against my neck as rain pattered against the window. But I did sometimes, in fleeting, shameful bursts. What if I'd listened to Dad? The inner conflict raged. Love versus legacy, heart versus head. I started journaling my thoughts, the pen scratching furiously across the page, detailing fantasies of justice. Expose his shady deals. Sabotage a launch. The ideas were wild, born of obsession, but they brought a cold resolve, a hardening of my resolve like steel forged in fire. Tension built slowly, like storm clouds gathering over the city skyline. I took a job at a coffee shop, the steam from the espresso machine burning my hands, the chatter of customers a cacophony that drowned my thoughts. "Double latte," a familiar voice said one afternoon. I looked up to see my brother Alex. His tailored suit a stark contrast to my apron. "Elena," he said, his tone laced with pity. "Dad's worried about you." Liar. Suppressed rage simmered as I handed him the cup, my fingers brushing his. "Tell him I'm fine. Better, even." But inside, the humiliation burned, reduced to serving my own family. That night, I confided in Marcus, my voice trembling. "I want to hurt him back. Make him regret it." Marcus's eyes darkened, a hidden depth I'd never seen. "Revenge isn't the answer," he said, but his tone held a note of calculation, a subtle hint that he might have his own motives buried deep. As weeks turned to months, the slow burn intensified. I noticed discrepancies in Hargrove's public filings. Small errors that could snowball if prodded. Doubt plagued me. Was I capable of this? Moral conflict twisted my guts. Dad wasn't evil, just controlling, shaped by his own cutthroat rise from nothing. But betrayal cut deep, resentment overriding guilt. I began researching anonymously, the glow of my screen illuminating my face in the dark apartment, the distant honk of taxis a soundtrack to my scheming. Marcus watched, his silence pregnant with unspoken thoughts. "What if I landed a job that changes everything?" he mused one night, his fingers tracing patterns on my arm. I laughed it off, but the idea planted a seed, foreshadowing something larger, more calculated. The turning point came during a chance encounter at a tech conference I snuck into, badge forged from desperation. Dad was on stage, his voice booming through the auditorium speakers, touting Hargrove's new AI platform. "Innovation without compromise," he declared, the spotlights casting harsh shadows on his face. I sat in the back, heart pounding, resentment boiling over into obsession. As he fielded questions, I imagined revealing his secrets, the offshore accounts I'd uncovered in my late-night digs. Fear gripped me. What if I got caught? But the cold resolve won, pushing me toward action. That night, back home, Marcus revealed his new job. A position at a rival firm, one with ties to Hargrove's competitors. "It's entry-level," he said, but his eyes gleamed with something unspoken, a hidden motive that sent a shiver down my spine. Suspicion flickered as I probed him. "Why this company?" I asked, the kitchen light buzzing overhead, casting flickering shadows. "Opportunity," he replied, his dialogue natural yet evasive, heightening the tension. I didn't press, but doubt lingered. Was Marcus playing his own game? The narrative shifted subtly, hints of vengeance emerging in quiet conversations. "Your dad underestimated me," he said once, his voice low, suppressed rage bubbling beneath. I nodded, my own plans crystallizing. Use Marcus's access to gather intel, then strike. Guilt warred with excitement. Was this justice or destruction? The first part of my revenge unfolded in shadows. I leaked a minor tip to a journalist friend, anonymously of course, about Hargrove's overvalued stock. The article was small, buried in a tech blog, but it rippled, causing a dip in shares. Dad called me for the first time in months, his voice crackling over the line. "Elena, if this is you." He trailed off, manipulation in his tone. "It's not," I lied, heartbeat thundering. Heartbreak resurfaced, layered with triumph. But as the call ended, moral conflict surged. Was I becoming him? Marcus's job progressed, his late nights increasing, the apartment filled with the scent of takeout and secrecy. "Big project," he explained, his words revealing little, building suspense. I fantasized about the payoff, poetic justice where Dad begged for mercy. Yet fear tempered it. What if it backfired? Inner thoughts swirled, denial fading, obsession growing, resolve hardening. The city outside our window pulsed with life, a cinematic backdrop to our quiet storm. One evening, as thunder rumbled overhead, Marcus came home with a folder, his face etched with determination. "This changes everything," he said, placing it on the table. Inside were documents. Hargrove blueprints, stolen? My breath caught, shock mingling with fury. "How?" I whispered. He smiled, a cold edge to it. "Revenge is a team effort." The revelation hit. He'd been planning too. His poor background fueling resentment toward my privileged world. Layers peeled back. His love genuine but tainted by hidden motives. Tension peaked as we pored over the files, the rain lashing the windows like accusations. "We can expose him," I said, voice trembling with raw emotion. But guilt whispered, "Family first." No betrayal demanded response. The slow burn ignited, setting the stage for retaliation. The folder lay open on our rickety kitchen table, its contents spilling like forbidden fruit under the harsh fluorescent light. Blueprints for Hargrove's flagship AI. Flaws circled in red ink, evidence of corner cutting that could tank the company if leaked. Marcus leaned back in his chair, the wood creaking under his weight. His eyes locked on mine with an intensity that sent a chill through me. "I didn't just take the job for the paycheck," he admitted, his voice a low rumble that echoed the storm outside. "Your dad. He represents everything I fought against. Rich men who step on the little guy." Heartbreak twisted in my chest, not for Dad, but for the realization that Marcus's love had been laced with calculation from the start. Had our wedding been his ticket to this? Resentment flared, but toward whom? Him for using me, or myself for being blind? Yet, in that moment, obsession bound us, a shared cold resolve overriding doubt. I paced the linoleum floor, the sticky surface grabbing at my bare feet, the distant wail of sirens amplifying the cinematic dread. "We have to be smart," I said, my mind racing through scenarios. Expose anonymously. Blackmail. The inner conflict raged. This was vengeance, but at what cost? Moral grayness enveloped me. Dad's betrayal justified this, yet guilt gnawed, reminding me of childhood Christmases, his proud smiles at my achievements. Marcus watched, his dialogue natural yet probing. "You in?" he asked, suppressed rage in his tone, revealing his own layers. A man scarred by poverty, motivated by justice, but willing to manipulate for it. The plan unfolded gradually, a slow-burn masterpiece of suspense. We started small, Marcus feeding subtle disinformation through his firm's channels, whispers that Hargrove's AI was glitchy. I monitored from afar, my coffee shop shifts a facade, the espresso hiss masking my pounding heart. One afternoon, Alex returned, his face drawn. "Dad's stressing. Stocks dipping." His words were casual, but tension crackled. "Good," I replied coolly, handing him his drink, my smile a mask of hidden motives. Inside, fantasies of justice bloomed. Dad humbled, begging forgiveness. But fear lurked. What if we were traced? Nights blurred into planning sessions, the apartment thick with the scent of coffee and conspiracy. Marcus's new job at Apex Tech, Hargrove's direct rival, provided the perfect cover. "They hired me knowing my connection," he confessed one evening, rain streaking the window like tears. "Wanted an inside man." Shock hit me. He'd betrayed me too, in a way, withholding this. Heartbreak layered with anger, but I suppressed it, channeling into resolve. "Then let's use it," I said, our dialogue heightening the stakes. Subtle foreshadowing emerged. His glances at the folder, a hesitance that hinted at deeper secrets. As the leaks escalated, Dad's empire trembled. News articles popped up, The buzz of my phone notifications a symphony of rising tension. "Hargrove under fire," one headline screamed. I imagined him in his corner office, the leather chair creaking as he paced, the city skyline mocking his fall. Obsession consumed me. I dreamed of confrontation, his admission of wrong. But doubt crept. Was this poetic justice or destruction? Moral conflict peaked during a solo walk through the park, leaves crunching underfoot, the crisp air biting my skin. What if innocence suffered, employees like Marcus once was? Marcus's demeanor shifted. His late returns laced with secrecy. "Progress," he'd say, but his eyes held suppressed rage, revealing motivations beyond our marriage. One night, as thunder cracked overhead, he slammed the door, face flushed. "Your dad's trying to buy out Apex." The revelation jolted me. Counterattack. Tension soared. We were in deep now. "We strike first," I declared, cold resolve stealing me. We drafted the ultimate leak, proof of Dad's embezzlement, buried in the blueprints. The execution built like a crescendo. I met Dad at a neutral cafe, the clink of cutlery underscoring our strained dialogue. "Elena," he said, his voice weary, lines etching his face. "Come home. Divorce that loser." Humiliation burned, but I feigned reconciliation. "Maybe," I lied, planting a seed of doubt. Inside, resentment boiled. His manipulation exposed. Back home, Marcus waited, the folder gone. "Where is it?" I demanded, fear gripping me. He smiled, a twist that sent shivers. "Sent it. To the press." Betrayal reversed. He'd acted alone, his hidden motive clear. Personal vendetta against the elite. Fury exploded, raw and visceral. "You used me!" I screamed, the apartment walls amplifying the echo. His response was calm, layered. "We both did. For love, for justice." Heartbreak mingled with obsession. Had our bond been real? Suspense peaked as news broke. Hargrove scandal, stocks plummeting. The dramatic payoff unfolded at the annual gala, spotlights sweeping the ballroom like searchlights. Dad, disgraced, approached us. Marcus, now Apex's rising star. His new job, a calculated infiltration that left everyone speechless. "You did this," Dad whispered, his voice breaking, a shocking twist. He'd known Marcus's background, hired investigators pre-wedding, but underestimated him. Poetic justice hit. Dad cut off, empire crumbling, but unexpected consequences followed. Marcus turned to me, guilt in his eyes. "I did it for us. But mostly for me." Moral grayness enveloped the end. Revenge tasted bitter, our marriage strained by truths revealed. As we left, hand in hand yet fractured, the city lights blurred through tears, a psychological scar lingering. In the aftermath, resentment faded to quiet resolve. Dad rebuilt smaller, humbled. Marcus's promotion came, but our love, once pure, now carried the weight of deception. The twist. I realized my own complicity, the pursuit of vengeance birthing a colder self. Heartbreak resolved into acceptance, the story closing on a resonant note. Betrayal begets betrayal, but from ashes, uneasy peace.